class! Today, I am your science teacher, Ma'am Edralyn Alcantara. I hope you're all doing great and ready to discover new ideas and exciting lessons in the wonderful world of science. But before we start our lesson, let's pause for a while and offer a short prayer. Let us all bow our heads and close our eyes. Amen. Thank you, class. Let's now prepare ourselves to learn. Okay, so let's start with a few interesting questions. Why does a cake rise and become fluffy when we bake it? What makes fireworks burst into different colors in the sky? How does our stomach digest food when we eat? And how does gasoline make a car move? Have you ever wondered about those things? All of those things can be explained by one amazing branch of science, the chemistry. Today, we are going to explore the world of chemistry. At the end of our lesson, you will be able to first define what chemistry is, explain why chemistry is called the central science, differentiate physical and chemical properties of matter, describe the 5 states of matter, provide examples of the classification of matter, and identify ways to separate mixtures. Are you ready, class?
Let's go!
Great! Let's start our journey into the wonderful world of chemistry.
Yay!
Before we go deeper, let's warm up our curious minds. Think like a young scientist. Can you name questions that chemistry might answer? Why do soap bubbles pop? Why does ice melt? Why do leaves turn yellow or brown? Why does metal rust? Why do soda fizz when opened? Very good. All of those questions are related to chemistry because chemistry helps us understand how things are made and how they change. So, what exactly is chemistry? Chemistry is the study of matter and energy and how they interact with each other. Now, what is matter? Matter is anything that has mass and takes up space. That means everything around you. The table, your notebook, your clothes, the air, the water you drink, all of them are matter. So when we study chemistry, we learn about what matter is made of, how it behaves, and how it changes into something new. But wait! Chemistry isn't the only science that studies the world around us. There's another branch that works closely with it, and that is physics.
Yay!
Chemistry and physics are both branches of physical science, but they focus on different things. Physics studies how object moves, how energy works, and how forces act, like how a ball bounces or how light travels. Chemistry, on the other hand, studies what substances are made of, their composition, properties, and the reactions they undergo. So, for example, when you light a candle, physics explains how light and heat are produced, while chemistry explains how the wax reacts with oxygen to form new substances like carbon dioxide and water vapor. So, chemistry and physics work together to explain the world around us, like two best friends in science. Now, you might ask, Teacher, why do we need to study chemistry? That's a very good question. Let me share some simple reasons why chemistry is so important. Chemistry helps us understand the world around us. Why do leaves change color in the fall? Why does bread smell so good when baked? All those are results of chemical changes. It helps us make smart choices. When you read product labels like sodium chloride or citric acid, you are using chemistry to understand what you eat or use. It keeps us safe. Chemistry teaches us which substances are safe or dangerous. For example, never mix bleach and vinegar. They produce harmful gas. It's part of cooking. When you bake a cake, the baking powder releases gas bubbles that make it rise. That's chemistry in action. It trains our brain. Chemistry teaches us to observe, think, and solve problems, like detectives finding clues. It helps us understand the environment. Chemistry explains pollution, climate change, and even how to clean water and air. It opens many jobs. Doctors, engineers, nurses, teachers, and even artists uses chemistry in their work. And lastly, chemistry is fun. You can create colorful reactions, bubbling mixtures, and glowing experiments that look like magic, but are actually science. Now that we know why chemistry is so amazing, let's learn why it is called the central science. Chemistry is called the central science because it connects to almost every other branch of science. Let's take a look. Biology and botany. All living things are made of chemicals. Plants use chemistry in photosynthesis, turning sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water into food. Our bodies use chemistry when we digest food or when our blood carries oxygen. In geology and archaeology, chemistry helps scientists to study rocks and fossils. For example, we can tell how old a fossil is through carbon dating, which uses chemical reactions to measure time. In medicine and biochemistry, chemistry helps create medicines that cure diseases, relieves pain, and keep us healthy. Even the food we eat turns into energy through chemical reactions inside our body. In astronomy, did you know that scientists can tell what stars are made of by studying the light they give off? Chemists discover elements like hydrogen and helium in stars and planets. In engineering and material science, engineers use chemistry to make plastics, glass, rubber, and metal, materials used for buildings, cars, and phones. In physics, chemistry and physics are closely related. Physics explains forces and motion, while chemistry explains how atoms and molecules behave, like partners solving nature puzzles. That's why chemistry is in the middle of all sciences, connecting life, earth, and energy together.